guys, and welcome back to Saved and Successful. We are here today with the wonderful Rachel. Welcome, Rachel.
Hello, nice to be here with you, Niky.
Thank you so much for agreeing to take part in this series. And so, you describe yourself as a coach. For those of us that might not know what a coach is, because when you think of coach, straight away you think sport.
Yeah, you do.
So, who are you? What are you?
As Niky said, my name is Rachel Yvonne, and I'm a singer-songwriter, also a speaker and a coach. So in terms of the coaching side, I'm a success coach for female entrepreneurs, and basically what I love to do is to help them find their voice, as well as gain visibility probably in the online world, as well as build confidence on stage or on camera, because I've been a singer for over 20 years and been on Ep5, been on television, been sung in all sorts of places all over the world. And some things that might come naturally to me because I've been doing something since I was 4 or 5 years old doesn't always come naturally to other people. And then with the lessons that I've learned with that, building a thick skin, always trying to be authentic and being yourself, those 3 avenues are the fields that I've found a way to express that.
It's amazing. So before becoming a coach, you were a singer?
Yes.
Singer.
Yeah.
And then you're a songwriter as well?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so growing up, is that what your parents expected you to be as, okay, Rachel's definitely going to be on stage? Were they supportive of your choices?
Well, the funny thing is about my parents is that I have one brother, and so when we were younger, something they always wanted us to do was to learn a musical instrument. So we kind of didn't really have a choice about learning. We always did music theory. I learned the piano, I learned to sing as well, and I picked saxophone as my 3rd instrument as well. So then what happened is that they said that regardless of what we decided to do with our lives, they wanted us to have musical background training. And to be honest, that has paid off, because I have done so much music and singing work and even teaching and things like that I wouldn't have been able to do if I didn't have it ingrained in me. And I would say that they weren't sure what avenue we would take. Obviously, they would definitely have preferred, just because that's how certain generations are. At the time, they probably would have preferred me to be more of a traditional job and things like that, but they have been incredibly supportive. My parents have been with me at auditions, at tours, at things. They at church they will mention it and say, Rachel's doing this, or we're going to be watching television tonight and we're going to see them on Alan Carr. Make sure you watch it, and which is not even a traditional thing to do, but they wanted to let everybody know, and of course to let me know that they do support what we do.
That's amazing. I think the parent support is the number one help, because sometimes people might find opposition from the parents and from the outside world. So in terms of your building your career in the music industry, what challenges did you face, and how were you able to kind of, like you said earlier, build a thick skin?
I think when you have something and you have a passion for something and you realise you do actually have the ability as well, because a lot of people, you can have a passion for something but you also need the skill for it in order to reach the right goals. So I have a formula for purpose, which is passion and skill will lead you to your purpose. And so I believe that I knew I was good at something, I was okay at it, and I got better because I would hang around the right kind of people, I would practice, I would learn my songs, make sure I was, on one of the best ones at the gig or at the event, to make sure that I was showing up on time, wearing the right uniform, that sort of thing. So I think perseverance as well. You persevere, don't take things personally. There were things that I'll be picked for because, of the size clothes that I wear, or there be things that I wouldn't be picked for because I'm not tall enough, or then I would be short enough, you see? So then you realise that don't take it personally. Sometimes they're looking for a particular look. Sometimes they're like, okay, we have 5 dark-skinned girls, so we only, maybe come back next time, that sort of thing. So you just got to realise that everything isn't necessarily personal, but when something is for you, it will be for you.
All these doors opening for you, how, or did you ever have to deal with rejection?
Yeah, all the time. Gosh, I can't tell you countless things that I've auditioned for, musicals that are even on now, and I'm like, I haven't been at that audition, but it's fine. I didn't make it, I didn't get that part. We even when I was on X Factor with a group, we were rejected live on television in front of millions and millions of people. But that's a part of life,
Yeah.
And it's just, you just have to realise that there are some paths that you will go along, and not everybody will like what you do or will accept it, but you have to know within yourself what you were born to do, and then you try not to get discouraged. It is hard not to, especially like music stuff and anything that's visual. It is about how you look as well. Yeah. So you do realise, maybe I should have lost a few more pounds, or maybe I should have dyed my hair that colour when they said so. You know, so it is kind of, it can take its toll on you, but you ultimately, it is down to your identity and knowing who you are. At the moment, I'm only coaching women, so I think that's important for me. If someone asked me that yesterday, you know, like, what is it that drew you to coaching women? I said, because most women, especially Christian women, tend to live below what they were called to do, because we kind of have like misunderstandings about certain scriptures, about what a woman should be, how they should be, and we kind of think submission means that you don't have to do anything. You know, not every church, but some churches kind of do preach it in a particular way. But nowadays you are seeing like much more women rising up. They're still being supported by their husbands. They're still being wonderful daughters. They're being amazing mums. But in my coaching, my demographic at the moment is mostly like women who most of them do have children who end up coming to coach with me, and they kind of have a thirst for life, but they know that they were born for a bit more than what they're doing, but they needed someone just to kind of show them the way. And that's generally how I help them to kind of find, you know, write down their biggest dreams, and let's see why, up until this point, why haven't you done it? Even if they are your children, how do you change your priorities or slightly rejig your life in a way that serves you well? So not just your husband's happy, not just your father's happy, not just that you're going do what your parents want or looking after your kids, but that you are happy as well. So everyone together, because when you are fulfilled, ultimately everyone around you is going to be much happier. If you're depressed and everyone else is wonderful around you, it doesn't really make for good demographics.
True. Have you ever come across people that you work with that maybe are aware of the, I wouldn't say rejection, but sort of oppression or position from family, and they find it hard to kind of pursue what they think is their purpose?
Yeah, all the time. You'd be, well, maybe you wouldn't be surprised, but it's the amount of people, that women especially, that feel that maybe it's not the right time, or they haven't got time. It's like a really common misconception that you don't have time to do things. But then when you sit down and look at what you do from the moment you wake up to when you go to bed, you realise that there might even be 1 hour where you kind of wasted time, not in a whole block, but there's 15 minutes there, there's 15 minutes there, 15 minutes make up an hour. So then you can pull back that time, and then I'll show them that, hey, in this time when this was happening, you could have done this. So tomorrow, let's have a go and see, while you're having your breakfast, you quickly write, on your phone, doesn't have to be anything formal. So a lot of times, I do come across women who have those barriers, but it's so easy to pull it back if you want to.
Wow, that's so inspiring. Because my time management at the moment needs prayer.
And action, not just prayer, we must have action as well.
It needs help. And like you said, 20 minutes there, 50 minutes there, and then before you know it, you have easily 1 hour that you could have done something.
Exactly, and you don't realise that you've done that. I'm a massive fan of still watching Netflix, and I will catch up on everything I need to watch, but you can set a time for that, and then if you need to go on Facebook, you set a time for that, and then you just make sure you're just being productive. That's it.
Yeah, definitely. You started singing, touring the world. So at what point, how did you start thinking, okay, I want to teach other women how to feel confident with themselves?
Yeah.
Is it something that God spoke to you about, or how did you start this coaching business?
I don't know, it was kind of like a natural thing. I remember even while we were doing X-Factor 2015, I was kind of starting the building blocks. Whenever I speak or whatever, they would always say, tell me how they felt afterwards, and people would come up to me and ask me if I could mentor them and things like that. And I was like, this sounds interesting. And then I just kind of looked into it a bit more, and I found some women that were doing things that I was like, I can do that. And then I realised I had the skills for that too. It's just sometimes you don't know what you don't know until you're exposed to that world. And then you realise, you watch a webinar or you see someone's Facebook Live and you realise, hey, I can do that. And then you do it, and then suddenly people start following you, and then they start kind of engaging with you. and then they actually get something from what you say. You're not just saying empty words. So what they get from what you say, that's how you know you have results. So that's kind of, it was more like a natural thing for me.
You've got to somehow be called for this, and like you said, the passion that you desire to help people and be a mentor to other women. Have you ever felt like, nah, this is not for me, am I sure I really want to do this?
I feel like at this point in my life, I'm actually doing everything that I should be doing. So I think that's what's important about what I was saying earlier about when you're in your purpose. So when your passions and then your skills line up, then when you start walking that way in purpose, then everything that comes along your way usually kind of lines up with that. And it can take many different forms. So for me, with the coaching now and having done singing, and I still do singing and speaking as well, all three of those together are perfect for me. And I see the results. You know, I get messages from people every single day, and I know that I'm meant to be doing it. Yes, you will have days where you'll get up, like we all do, you know, especially as women, sometimes we're not feeling that great. And now that I'm pregnant, I just find it so hard sometimes. I just feel sick all the time. And then someone will text me and be like, hey Rachel, we've got our call today. And I'll say, yes, can't wait to see you, because I remember what we were talking about before. I remember what we planned to do. And so then everything kind of just falls into place that way.
Oh wow. Where do you see yourself in the next 3-4 years?
I see myself doing more of what I'm doing currently. You know, having done a few more of my own conferences as well, and just kind of doing everything but on a bigger scale. So just kind of continuing to help as much as I can, as well as making sure that I stay true to who I am, because that's one of the things as well, is that the more your profile is enlarged and the more your influencer rate can increase, you still have to remember who you are. You know, I was watching The Life of Kylie the other day, and there's something that she said to her shrink. She said that because they grew up in the spotlight, she had actually forgot what it was like to be a child, because she was at school when they first started the show, and obviously now she's got her own business and whatnot. So you have to remember why you're doing something and not just going with the flow, because sometimes you can be going along with the flow in the right way, but as we know, if you go to the ocean and start going with the flow, you might end up somewhere else. In deep water that you can't swim in. All areas of my life, whether that's my business, my family, and my career, is making sure that I'm still lining up with the purpose that I know God has for my life.
Wow, purpose. It's very important to know what your purpose is, because sometimes, I don't know, you come across people that are 60, 65 and they've realised they have not walked in purpose their whole life, and I think it's better to try and see that it doesn't work than to regret in the end. Absolutely,
and that is probably my number one reason why, when we were asked to do X Factor, I always said yes. I actually, my brother was in it too, and some of my friends, and so I said to them, we should do this because better now than never. And you don't want to look 10 years later when the show doesn't exist anymore and be like, oh, do you remember when we had the opportunity?
True.
Do you remember when we were asked to do X, Y, and Z? Yeah, we could look stupid. Yes, everyone could laugh at us. However, you need to take risks in your life. And that's how I feel about most things. There's lots of things that I've done or said or gone to or done on my own or whatever, that other people would be like, oh Rachel, you're so brave. No, I'm not brave. I just decided that I wasn't going to have any regrets. I just decided that, you know, God, you've got me, and yes, I have my own mind, but I'm going to try and follow you as much as possible. And that's generally how I like to do things.
Wow. Life is risk. It's maybe
absolutely.
What would be your word of encouragement for someone that is watching and thinks, you know, I'm not sure, what if I fail? What would be your words of encouragement for them?
Sure, so one of my favourite scriptures, I have like so many, but one of my favourites is Jeremiah 29 verse 11, and it just simply says like, for I know the plans you have towards me are to prosper me and to give me a hope and a future. So as long as you know that, you really have to know that, not just intellectually, like we can read the Bible, we can read any religious book we like and say, oh, this is what so-and-so said, or Shakespeare or whatever, and be like, this is amazing, but you need to know that in your soul as well, because if you don't know that, then you will think that certain things happen to you that are meant to trip you up. You will think that God puts traps in your way, that he's always looking out to destroy your life. Like if you lose a baby or your marriage breaks down, these are things that have happened to me. And I could look at it and be like, oh, maybe God doesn't love me anymore. Or maybe I'm not walking in purpose. No, this is life.
Yes.
So then for me, knowing that, I know the plans that he has for me are always to prosper me. So then I know that if I follow him, I will always prosper.
Amen.
So then that is one encouragement I can give, is that when you know that God is for you, and even if you're not sure if you believe in God, but you know there is something as presence, that a higher being that does always call you deeper, that's what it does. It's always calling you. He's always looking out for your best interests. Everything in the world is always working out for your good. And I try to live by that every day, that even if something happens, say if I was to trip down the road outside after we leave here and break my leg or something, I know that all things work together for good. Maybe I'm going to meet someone at the hospital that I can speak to. Maybe I needed to rest. Do you see? So sometimes these things that look like the devil's plans, or they look like it's bad for you, end up being good for you.
Well, that is so inspiring. It's like seeing positive whenever and however possible.
As much as you can. It is hard. It's not easy. Especially when life circumstances are so obviously awful.
Horrible.
Like really bad. And you're thinking, how did I get here? God, where are you? Do you not exist anymore? But then you understand that actually, hold on, let me take responsibility for certain things. But now that I trust you again, let me go back and remember who I am.
Wow. That's it. So I think I can go. I still actually needed to hear that. It's amazing. So, in a nutshell, what Rachel's trying to say, guys, whatever the storm, just remember that it has to work for your good in the end. So trust God, blindly trust God.
All the time.
In one word, what would be one thing that you would like people to remember you for?
For purpose.
Purpose.
Yeah.
Amen. Thank you so much, Rachel,
You're
and
welcome.
God bless you. And I know we're going to hear about you all over the country and even beyond. And I'll be like, yes, I know her. Thank you so much, guys.
You're
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Get me ready, Lord, get me